Welcome back to The Redeemed Mess. I'm Kathy, and on this podcast, I talk about the messiness of life and how Jesus, in his grace and mercy, redeems every part of it. Whether you're walking through hard seasons, searching for hope, or just need a gentle reminder of God's faithfulness, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's episode. I want to talk about something I've wrestled with most of my life, but I didn't always have the words for. Something that quietly shaped how I showed up in relationships, in ministry, in my marriage, and even in my faith. And I'm talking about pretending, performing, people-pleasing, and how it made a bigger mess of my life than I ever imagined. Now, I didn't set out to live this way. It wasn't some conscious decision. It just became a habit, a way to survive, a way to be accepted and to stay connected. And I used to think I was being helpful, that I was being a servant, that I was doing what God wanted. But the truth is, I was exhausted. I was saying yes when I should have said no. I was smiling when I felt broken. And I was showing up for everyone else, but I didn't even know how to show up for myself anymore. And mostly underneath it all was fear. Fear that if I stopped performing, people would pull away. Fear that if I was honest about my limits or my needs, I'd be seen as difficult. And deep down, fear that if I didn't keep doing, giving, pleasing, I'd be left behind. And for a long time, I believed that being available all the time was what made me valuable. That staying quiet was the same as keeping the peace. That putting myself last was just part of being a good Christian woman. But I've come to see those patterns for what they really were. They were a form of self-protection, a shield against rejection, and honestly, a way of living that was more about fear than faith. And I love this verse, Galatians 1:10. It stopped me in my tracks many times. And it goes like this: am I trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. That verse doesn't leave much wiggle room, does it? And Psalm 94:14 has comforted my heart more than once. The Lord will not abandon his people. He will not desert those who belong to him. You and I belong to him, and he's not asking us to perform. He's asking us to trust. This pretending, this striving to be all things to all people, well, it's not holy. It's actually very heavy, and it's not the life Jesus came to offer us. I look back and I realize this was one of the biggest ways I made a mess of my life, by trying to earn love instead of simply receiving it, and by trying to hold everything together instead of resting in the one who already does. Jesus doesn't need our polished image. He wants our honest hearts. He isn't drawn to your perfect performance. He's drawn to your surrender. So maybe today's the day you put down your mask. Let yourself be real. Let yourself be loved right there in the unfiltered, unedited version of your story. You're not too much, and you're not too needy, and you're not going to be abandoned when you stop pretending. You are known by him, you're chosen by him, and you are held, not because of what you do, but because of who he is. As always, take what you need, leave the rest, be blessed. Also, if you're in a season of simplifying, downsizing, or just wanting to live more intentionally in your later years, I invite you to check out my other podcast, Oma's Musings. It's where I share reflections from the quieter side of life with a little wisdom from this redeemed mess of a grandmother, aka Oma.